So the last little part of Japan I want to talk about here, the last region, Okinawa, which is really interesting because it's own little world within Japan. It's the islands that extend down from Kyushu down almost all the way to Taiwan. So this island chain there. So it's a collection of many islands. The capital is at Naha. Um, there in southernmost island Japan. But what's interesting about Okinawa is it's prior to becoming part of Japan, it was its own kingdom, the Ryukyu Kingdom here. It has its own palaces, its own kings, its own monarchy. It was very much independent. Had its own. It has its own language, which is even different than Japanese as well. Uchinaguchi is its language there, so it really is this sort of island it's its own little culture there within Japan. So it's part of Japan, but it still is very unique. That's why a lot of people, when you say, oh, where are you from, and if they say Okinawa, that it's not Japan. I mean, there's very much a distinction there that between Okinawans and Japanese. Though I mean, there's connections there, but there's a very distinct culture. One of the reasons why is that Okinawa is very much, it's a lot, very similar in climate and topography to Hawaii. A lot of islands, smaller islands, these island chains. Here you can see sort of the tropicalness um, of Okinawa. So it's a little bit different than mainland, the other islands of Japan there. And the other reason it's interesting is the history of Okinawa is also kind of similar to Hawaii. It was settled by people that came over voyaging canoes, set up their own culture, their own language, their own customs there. And then in the Meiji era, as Japan was sort of consolidating and expanding, this is when they went in and colonized, expanded into Okinawa. So this is about the 19th century, late 19th century is when Japan kind of moved in there. And then the second sort of phase is post World War II. Okinawa was invaded by the Americans, and now there's like a major American base in Okinawa, and that's caused some issues in Okinawa between sort of the U.S. military and the Okinawa there, Okinawan peoples. There's been some issues with American military people. There's been some issues with kind of social issues that have come up, some rapes that have happened there, and so there's a lot of people that are kind of push the United States out of Okinawa. So there's sort of underlying tensions there, and there's also some issues, which again is similar to Hawaii of over tourism. That a lot of people from Japan and all over the world come to visit Okinawa, and there's sort of an issue of too many people coming in. So Okinawa is a very interesting world, a little bit different than Japan. It's unique to itself, but but also part of this larger Japanese, I guess, yeah, larger Japan.